Hey, Resurrection Kids leaders, my name is Mr. Nick Ransom, and I am super grateful that you have said yes to being a Resurrection Kids leader this school year, the 2024-2025 school year. I'm also super grateful that you have taken the time to be a part of our training. Training is really important, helps us get better as leaders, and helps the kid have a better experience. And when they have a better experience here at the church, their faith grows. So here's how this training is going to work. We're going to begin with a little bit of an opening from me. I like all of us leaders to watch that no matter where you serve. Please check out this first part that I'll be sharing here in just a minute. Then once that is over, if you are an early childhood leader, you will jump in and listen to and watch Amy Fulton, her training. If you are an elementary leader, you will watch and listen to Mr. Mike and his training. Now, bonus with you elementary leaders, there will be a link in the description of this video for one short other video that Mr. Mike references that will need you to watch as well for your training. Once you've completed all this training, you will then have the opportunity to fill out a little quiz, if you will, just to prove that you watched this video and got your training done. And then once you complete that, I will get notified that you have done that. And then in B114, next time you show up, there will be this wonderful shirt where it will be all yours that you get to wear. And I would encourage you to wear it every time you're volunteering and serving so that the leaders and kids know that you are, well, actually the families and kids know that you are one of the leaders here. All right, so let's jump in. And I'm going to begin with hopefully just a little bit of inspiration, just a little bit of thought about what it means to be a great leader. And so my hope is that as you hear this, and that it's something you can remember. So when it becomes a cold day in January and it's your turn to volunteer and your turn to lead the kids, and you're getting up and you're wondering, why am I getting up when I can stay home when it's nice and warm in my house? I have to get out in the cold and trudge in, and I know my kids aren't listening. They're going to be wild today, so what am I going to do? That you'll remember this video and this little talk here at the beginning. And if you don't, good news is it's on YouTube. You can go back and watch it. So it's my hope that it's like, oh yeah, this is why I do what I do, and this is why it is important. All right, so here we go. If you've been in our volunteer snack room, our VIP room B114, you've noticed there have been some new posters put up. And on those posters, there's this saying, here for it. And this is our kind of our theme for the 24-25 school year for us as leaders. Now, just a disclaimer, this did not come from me. This is not original content. This came actually from the same people who make our curriculum, who produce our curriculum called Orange. And so they suggested a theme for our leaders this school year. And I thought, yeah, this is great. Let's go for it. And it is here for it. So we're just going to break down that phrase, here for it. I'm going to say that a lot. So we're just thinking about these three different words and what it means to be a leader who is here for it. So let's start with the word here. All right, I'm sure as you have driven around, you've seen different bumper stickers that say, I'd rather be fishing, or I'd rather be golfing, or I'd rather be doing math or reading or whatever it might be. Well, the other day I came across one that I'd never seen before, and it actually said, I'd rather be here now. I thought, man, that's really great, especially when I was thinking about what to say to you when I'm talking about leaders who are here for it. When you see this bumper sticker, it is more like this person who's put this on is like saying, I am fully living in the present. I am here now for you. And that's what I think you as leaders are. When you are a leader who is here, you are fully present with the kids. For those 90 minutes or whatever length it might be for a service, you are fully present with the kids. You are fully engaged with them. You've eliminated all distractions, cell phones, and you are there with the kids. Let me just give you a couple of things that maybe it looks like to be a leader who is fully present, all right? When you are a leader who is here, you ask kids questions, right? You are finding kids who might be on the outside, maybe haven't connected or made any friends here, and inviting them in to be a part of the group, right? You are leading a lesson with all the energy you can. You're also a leader who listens. You get on the kids' levels, and you're making sure the kids know that they belong. Now, sometimes being fully present is a rare skill. It's hard to master because there's so many distractions going on. But I believe if we can be leaders who are here for these 60, 70, 80, 90 minutes, however it is, with our kids, that makes a huge difference because you are present with the kids, and the kids will pick up on that, all right? So now we have the next word, and that is for, right? A lot of people know what people are against or what churches or organizations are against, but seldom we get to share about what we're for. And as leaders who are for, we are for the kids. Let me just give you one example of a church in Georgia, I think it was in Gwinnett, right, who decided that they wanted their community to know not what they were against, but what they were for. And so they started being really involved in the community, really supporting businesses and organizations. And they started this hashtag called For Gwinnett. And it was really obvious that this church was for the people of their community. And so I want us as leaders, for the kids to know that we are for them. We are in their corner. We are cheering them on. We want them to do well. We want them to succeed. We want them to grow in their faith. And we are for them in so many ways. And I just want to give you one example of what this might look like. All right. Now, we have Wednesday night programming as well. And this past spring, I was on my computer and I got an email, and it was from a mom. And the title was Best Leaders Ever. And in the email was just a picture of 4 of our kindergarten leaders who went to watch some of their kids' spring musical, right? And here's the picture. You'll be able to see it here in just a second. And they were there, and they got their picture taken, and it just made the kids' days. It made their moms' days. And these kids left knowing that their leaders were for them. And they'll never forget this. This was an amazing thing. Now, I'm not asking all of us to go out and watch sports and do musicals, so I know we got a lot of things going on. But there are ways that we can be for the kids in a way that makes a difference. And can you imagine with these 600 to 800 plus kids that are coming through the doors on various days, if they know that the leaders are for them, just what a difference that makes in their lives. All right, let's go to the final one, it. So we are leaders who are here. We're leaders that are for, and now we are leaders who have it or here for it. So what exactly is it? So I kind of made an example of some things that I think we might encounter that are it. Potty accidents, 5 trips to the bathroom in 1 hour, kids who don't listen or participate, impatient grown-ups at check-in or check-out, a lost toy, a lost craft, a short service where you can't finish all the lesson content, or a long service where you have way too much free time. All right. How about singing and dancing with the kids, or a last-minute change in your volunteer team? So now you have to pray out loud. And the list goes on, right? We can come up with all kinds of different it things, but there's also positive things, right? I want to listen to the positive it's. Having kids get excited to see you in the room. You're here for that, right? Helping a kid through a tough time. We're all here for that. Watching a kid learn a song or the Bible words. Watching a kid grow and engage in the room. It's pretty fun to watch a kid who comes into a room, not sure what's going on, not sure if they want to engage in. And 6 weeks later, they are here and they're growing and they are loving their room and loving you as the leader and watching them grow. You're here for that. Hearing families tell you what a difference church has made in their lives, or making friends with other leaders in your room. You are here for all of that, right? That's what makes you awesome, right? My prayer, my hope is that in this 24-25 school year, that people come and they notice that our leaders are here for it. And I know it's not always easy, and it's going to be tough sometimes, but when we come and realizing that, hey, as leaders who are here for it, we can make an amazing difference with the kids, that this is when we see faith grow, and who knows what God will do with these kids. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen to this. And now you are off to your breakouts of early childhood with Amy and elementary with Mr. Mike. Thanks, and I'll see you around.
Hello, Resurrection Kids leaders. My name is Amy, and I'm the Early Childhood Program Director. And I first wanted to start by saying thank you for being part of the Resurrection Kids team. We cannot do it without each and every one of you pouring into kids' lives on every Sunday. As we start off a brand new school year and we plan ahead, I wanted to give you 7 tips on ways that you can make your Sunday the best it can be for you and for the kids. So let's get started. Number 1 is to come prepared each week. When you're prepared, that means you are ready when that first kid walks in the door to pay full attention to them and be excited for what's ahead. So how do you prepare? Well, you prepare by reading the email that I send on Friday. You prepare when you read through the lesson plan so you know what we're going to be talking about that day. You prepare when you make sure your Resurrection Kids shirt is ready to wear on Sundays and that you've got your lanyard all ready to go. And of course, you're prepared when you have a blue lanyard. That's what we're trying to all get to, is the blue lanyards. You prepare when you show up 25 minutes early in the VIP room so that you can be with the other leaders and we can go through some programming information you need to know. We fellowship a little bit, and then we pray before we set you off to your classrooms. You also prepare when you get to your classrooms, and you make sure you talk with the other leaders in your room and decide who's going to do what. When you do all of these things, you prepare for the kids, and that makes it a good Sunday for you and for the kids. Tip number 2 is to be present and to make the kids feel special. When you are present, that means you are ready for what is ahead. You are here for it, like we've been talking about. We know that you come with a lot of things on your mind. Lots of distractions. You might be thinking about what happened the night before or what's coming ahead. But my hope is when you walk into your classrooms, you take a deep breath and you eliminate all the distractions and you're ready for those kids that walk through the door. One of the biggest distractions that you might have is your cell phone. So, of course, we ask that you put that cell phone away. We don't want that out when the class is started. And then you can be present by greeting the kids with a smile, by calling them by name, by playing with the kids and doing activities with them. You can ask them questions. They love to talk about themselves, and it makes them feel special. The other child that you can be watching out for is we want you to pay attention to your classroom and see those kids that might not be fully engaged, those that might need an invitation to come and join, those that might be a little shy. So you could be on the lookout for those that might need your help. A couple of other ways that we want to make our kids feel special is on their birthdays. If you look at their stickers that print out, if it has a B on it, that means that they have a birthday in the coming week. So make a big deal about that. Ask them what they're going to do for their birthday, how old they're going to be, have the rest of the class sing happy birthday to them and make them feel special. The other time that we want to make kids feel special is on their first time that they're visiting us. So if your labels have an F on it, that means it's their first time. And we just want to make sure for those kids that we're giving special attention to them, that we're letting them know what's going to happen during class time. You might want to get out those visual schedules and talk through, this is what we're going to do today. That helps them feel more comfortable and ready for that day. So those are just a few ways that you can make the kids feel special by you being present. So tip number 3 is to engage the kids in the activities of the day. So when you're engaging them, that means that they're participating in what's going on the best that they can, and we hope that they're learning something. If nothing else, we're hoping that they learn the bottom line. And for that, if you don't already know that, that is the most important thing we want the kids to know before they leave. And you'll notice in the lesson plan, it is said over and over and over again. Repetition is really good at this age. For instance, this month, our bottom line is God loves us no matter what. And so we say that a lot in our singing, in our dancing, in the lesson and the activities that we do. So teach the bottom line, get them engaged. You can engage them right from the very start. When they walk through that door and you're sitting at the table doing the welcome activity, engage them, invite them over to the table, or invite them to come build a tower with you over in the toys. A lot of times they need that invitation to get them engaged right off the bat. We want you to be sure that when you're leading an activity that you are engaging with the kids. We don't want you reading from the paper. We want you to looking them in the eyes, focused on them. Be animated, be excited. When you're excited, they're going to get in to what you're talking about and be more engaged. So this is your excuse. You can be silly, you can be fun, and the kids love it. You can get the kids engaged during worship time. Somebody else is always leading that, but you can be the one at your carpet square dancing and singing and giving thumbs up to the kids and being excited. When you're excited, again, the kids are going to be excited and engaged with what's going on. You can engage the kids with cleanup time. That should not be the leader's job. That should be everybody's job. And make it fun. You can say, who's going to pick up the most toys, or who can pick up 5 toys, and then we're going to do something really exciting and special. Kids this age love to be helpers, so invite them in and let them do that and be engaged. To keep the kids engaged, a lot of times that means eliminating distractions, aka the toys in the classroom. The toys can be a great tool at the beginning of class, but once the class starts, our hope is that we put the toys away. And that could be even turning the toy cabinet all the way to the wall. So it's not a distraction for the kids. When they don't see the toys, they don't think about wanting to play with the toys. And then you can get them engaged in the activities that we have planned for that day. And then the last reminder about engaging the kids is we want you to engage the kids right up to the end of the class when their parent is picking them up. It's during those last minutes when all chaos can happen if we don't have organized activities. And we want the grown-ups picking them up to see the kids doing some of the fun things that we've been doing all hour long. There's some favorite games that kids love to play. There's closing activity bin on the counters with a parachute and a ball and a scarf. You've got bubbles, you've got music. Oh my goodness, there's so many fun ways to engage those kids all the way up to the end. And again, you don't have to do it all as a class. You could even divide into little stations. So some kids are over here coloring, some kids are playing with the bubbles, some are having a dance party. But however you want to do it, you're engaging the kids. And we know that's going to make for a good day. All right, tip number 4 is to help prepare the kids for transitions and give clear expectations. At this age, transitions are very hard for the kids. So I have a couple of ways that might help you as we help the kids transition. The first hard transitions for some kids is when they first are coming into the classroom. So you have a very important part in checking that child in to engage with them. A lot of times it's very scary to leave their families. So the key is to engage with them, get them in as quickly as possible, and get the grown-ups away as quick as possible, right? So you could make sure you get down on their level, call them by name, talk about something really cool we're going to do in class that day, ask them to be your helper. Whatever it is, get them in that classroom, and that helps them transition. Another thing that helps the kids transition is giving them a time warning. We all want to know what is expected, so the kids do too. So you might want to say, okay, we have 2 more minutes to play with toys, and then we're going to do another fun activity. Or you might say 1 more minute and we're going to praise and worship. By giving them a time, that helps them prepare for that transition that's ahead. You also want to make sure you give very clear directions to these kids. If you say, okay, everybody, we're going to go do the craft now, some kids are going to stand and look at you like, I don't know what that means, where we're going. Some kids know that means go to the table, so they're going to race to the table they want to, knock over a few kids, and try to sit there. As opposed to, you could say, okay, when I count to 3, we are all going to go tiptoe over to the table and find a chair to sit in, and then we're going to wait for instructions about an important and fun craft that we're going to do. See the difference? It will make a lot of difference with the kids too, and they will actually do it if you give it a try. Another time when it's really important to give clear direction is when they're lining up at the door. If you're going to praise and worship, if you say line up at the door, guess what's going to happen? They all want to be line leader. They're all going to push and shove. There's going to be some tears. So we don't want that to happen. So what can you do? Well, again, make it a fun game. You could either have already jobs assigned to the kids. Say, I loved Macy has done such a good job in Friendship Circle today. Why don't you be our line leader today? Can you go ahead and line up? And then you might say, okay, anybody wearing red, you can take giant steps over to the door. And then you might say, anybody who has a cat, I want you to hop to the door. See, it's a fun game, less pushing and shoving. Definitely clear instructions and expectations are needed for that. And then finally, just a tip for you as leaders, another transition time that we struggle with is when we're finishing up the craft or creation thing that we're doing at the tables, and we're moving on to the next activity. A lot of the kids do not complete the task at the same time. So what do? Instead of all the leaders sitting with the kids and the kids trying to figure out what to do if they're done, choose one of the leaders to have an activity for them to go do. When they're done with the craft, then you get to go see Miss Amy, and she's going to be reading us a story. Or Mr. Mark is going to be over there, and we're going to be playing a fun game. That way you're engaging them in another activity, so they're not tempted to want to go play with those toys again. So just a few tips on helping you prepare kids for transitions and clear expectations, and hopefully helping you have a better Sunday. So number 5 is to keep the kids safe. We know this is very important. We want the kids to be safe. We want you to be safe. And usually keeping the kids safe is giving clear expectations and leading with love in everything you do. One of the big safety things we have is that you should never be alone with a child. If you can keep that rule, most everything else will keep the kids safe. We also have questions about the bathroom. The bathroom, any type of diapers or potty training for the younger kids should be taken care of by a staff. And for kids 3 and older, there's bathrooms in the classrooms that we want them to use. You let them go into the bathroom, leave the door open a crack. Then when they're done, they come back out. You should never be in the bathroom, though, with the child. And of course, if you need help, that's when you get to call in me, because we know that's my favorite thing to do is go help with bathroom issues. Also, make sure you're always counting the kids when you're leaving or coming and going. That's why we're asking you numbers so much. Is one, we're trying to make sure there's a right amount of kids per leader, and that we don't have kids visiting other classrooms. We always want them to end up in the correct classroom. So please always count your kids. Of course, there's lots of classroom management situations that might come up. There's going to be sharing issues where you might need to remove the toy from a situation. Someone might get hurt, which is usually fixed by a Band-Aid that's in your cabinet. Um, there could be kids not participating and running around where you need to stop them. So lots of things are going on in the classroom at once. We know that. But a lot of times, the big thing that we want you to do is just take a deep breath and remain calm. When you remain calm, hopefully that will help get the kids calm and you'll be able to talk to them about the situation. And of course, again, you can always call me or one of the other staff people in, and we can always help with the situation. Just know that you're never alone in any situation. And if you ever have any questions about anything, please look for a staff person. So we're keeping the kids safe. Let's move on to number 6. Number 6 is communicate, communicate, communicate. We want you to communicate. We're all one big team, and what makes any team function is communication. So we've already talked about communicating with the kids. You got that down. We also want you to communicate with their grown-ups, especially at pickup time. Maybe you mentioned that Scotty did a great job today. He led the prayer. It was so amazing. Be sure to ask him about it. Or today we learned about that God loves us no matter what, even when we're sad. So be sure to talk about that. It just kind of gives them a chance to know what their kid did that day and that you can communicate all the way home about that. We also want you communicating with the leaders in your classroom, not only on who's doing what, but also what's going on in the classroom. Talk about this situation happened. How could we make that better? Or did you see Johnny talked about this? So know that that's your team. That's who you're working with. And finally, I want you to communicate with me. That's right. Communicate when you're going to be gone. You guys do a great job of that. But also communicate with me about things that are going well in the class, an activity that worked, and activities that don't work. Talk to me about something that might have come up with a kid. Maybe there's a concern that they brought up that their dog died, or communicate that a kid got hurt that day. All those things are things that we need to know. So when someone asks us about it, is that we are in the know and know what's going on. And plus, we just like to hear those things. And finally, I would love to know what's going on in your lives. So I'm always praying for you. Our team is praying for you. So if you have any joys or concerns or times that you want to sit and talk about something, I would love to do that. Okay, so we're communicating. Sundays are going great. We're just down to number 7. Tip number 7 is to have fun. If you're having fun, the kids are going to have fun. They're going to match your moods. And so our hope is that when you come on Sundays, that you are here for it, that you are ready to jump in and spend the next hour and a half with these kids, pouring out your love to them, which teaches them that church is an amazing place to go to, that they're going to have fun at church and they're going to learn about God. And you have the opportunity to do that. I'm looking forward to the coming year and partnering with you. I'll see you on Sunday.
Hello, welcome elementary leaders. My name is Mr. Mike, and we're going to be doing some quick training here for you guys for this coming year, 2024-25. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is group huddle time. When is it? 25 minutes before the hour. And what is it? It's a time when we discuss and talk about what's coming up in the lessons, some things you need to know. And lastly, it is needing to be a priority for you. So make that a priority. Be there at 25 minutes before the hour for those group huddles. After a group huddle, we will take off and head to our classrooms. When you get to your classroom, you're going to go over your assignments. You're all going to talk together as a team in that particular classroom, and who's doing what, who's doing the Bible story, who's doing the game, who's doing the opening game, who's doing the memory verse, whatever assignments are there, just assign those out, make sure everyone knows what's going on, and make that happen. One of the assignments is check in and check out. So when you're doing the check in and check out, please just make sure, since we no longer have name tags printing in the rooms, to make sure that those kiddos, if they have a name tag on, their parent may have stuck it there, make sure it's the right name tag. And not a name tag that should have gone someplace else, like in the book or home with or back with the parents. So check those name tags on those kiddos when you get done. Also, we want to make sure that as soon as they come in, that you're engaging with them right away. Bring them right into the classroom, get them started on some things that they can do, whether it's a coloring page or whatever. Get them plugged in into the classroom, what's going on. and making them feel at home and included as quickly as you possibly can. The other thing we want to do is to talk about proximity, and that is uh, don't just kind of be looking around or talking to one of your leaders in the classroom when those kids are in. Look for things to do. Look for kids who might need a little bit of extra attention and make your way over to them. Sit on the ground with them and work on an activity, whatever that might be, to make sure that they are being engaged in all that's going on. And make sure that you're starting on time. This year we have on our playlisters in each of your rooms at 5 minutes after the hour, there will be a countdown of 30 seconds that will take place. And when you see that countdown going, automatically it'll happen in all the rooms. You will know that it is time to stop whatever's going on and to start your lesson. So we want to make sure that we stay on time. There's lots of things to do. So we want to make sure that we get through all the things in the course of that Sunday school hour. So we want to make sure too that if you're not leading the activity, for example, if you're doing the opening material stuff and your time up is not until maybe later on, or maybe the Bible story, that's just not a time for you to just hang back or walk around, but that's a time for you to make sure you're using proximity. You're walking around where kids are, you're sitting next to kids, maybe they're a little fidgety, or might be talking to kids, their friends next to them, just to kind of slip in there and be close and maybe cut in between them and sit in between them to keep the focus of those kids on what's going on while the leaders are talking. Because you'll want that happening for you when it's your turn to lead your portion of the activity. So you want to make sure that their leaders in the room are doing the same thing for you as well. So just a couple other things to let you be aware of that you should know, but just a quick reminder, and that is always two leaders in the classroom. No matter what. So that means if you're only two leaders in your classroom and a kid needs to go to the bathroom, you just need to get on the little walkie-talkie and call me, call Nick, and we will come down to the room and either let you take that kiddo to the restroom if you need a break as well, or we will go ahead and grab that kiddo and take them to the restroom for you. The other thing is bathrooms for you as leaders are not the bathrooms that are for the kids. The bathrooms for the kids, they're on the north side where the drinking fountain is as well, are just for the kiddos. Let them go in, and if you need to, if they're taking too much time, you can just pop open the door real quick and kind of call in and make sure everything's okay. But if you're needing to use the restroom, it's back on around the corner, across from the vending machine is where the family bathroom is, and that's what you can use. We want to also make sure that you are aware that no kids in your laps, no letting kids sit in your laps. I know they want to do that, but we want to make sure that we're not having those kind of things happen, as well as giving kids any piggyback rides as they go down the hall or in the room as well. So, and then lastly, regarding stuff like that, it would be the use of cell phones. I know that's a hot topic, and I know we're not saying that you can't have a cell phone in class. We want you to have cell phones. How we communicate with you, with our group me, we want to make sure we limit the use of those cell phones. And when the lesson is started, if you could just flip those cell phones on the counter and put them face down so you're not seeing all those notifications popping up on your phone, which makes you want to grab that phone and start answering them. That would be wonderful. And any behavior issues that might be taking place, I just want to remind you to go out, and we'll try maybe put the link also in with this video, but to re-watch the Tums video to make sure that you're back and familiar with that Tums, each of those letters for the Tums stands for. And there's a video out there. You just click on it and rewatch that to get more acclimated to it. And then some last minute tips. So when a leader is talking, or the Bible story is playing up on the screen, we just want to remind you to try to refrain from any side conversations with other leaders in the room, but to kind of, again, keep those kids focused on what's going on, either what the leader's saying or listening to the Bible story when that's happening. And then again, using the proximity. If you're needing to walk around the room, you should either be sitting right next to a kid or looking for some place in the room that you need to go to help get a kid refocused that might be talking too much, or next to some kids and they're using their hands a little bit too much, and just to refocus them by walking over to them and sitting next to them and letting them know to focus on what's going on. So then also we want to make sure that you stay to the end if you can. I know sometimes you have to leave early for things that you have going on, and we understand those things, but make sure you let Nick or I know ahead of time that you need to leave early. But if not, if you could please stay to the very end to make sure that we have the needed amount of people in that classroom and that everything gets done. And then lastly, also so you can help all the other leaders to get that room put back in place and to leave it the way you found it. We have oftentimes have that classroom being used again, and we want to make sure that that classroom is just the way you found it when you got there, and that everything's in its place, so they can have a great hour of teaching as well. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll be around and be happy to answer any questions. Have a great year. Looking forward to it.